Hey guys and gals, friends on Facebook. I have a few minutes because just dropped off my kid after her doctor's appointment and I'm going to drive her Lyft. But before I did, I wanted to give you a video response stemming from the video that I showed everybody last week. If any of you recall seeing it, I had a conversation with my mom and it was a really candid conversation last week. And it went a direction I didn't expect, so I decided to record it because I didn't know what I was going to hear anymore. So, and I wanted it for my own. And then after recording it, I realized I wanted to share it with you, my friends, because I wanted you to see just what an actual conversation between a parent and their child is on the topic of your child is gay. And it wasn't to slam my mom by any means. I love my mom. And I couldn't respond right away with how I was really feeling because I was in shock. And I want to thank, before I even go in to share with you what I processed and what I came up with it, please know that I thank all of you for being so caring and thoughtful for both of us, not just me, but for my mom. And your comments were in great taste and they were thought out. And a lot of you even private messaged me. You called me, you sent me text messages, which I didn't expect because that wasn't the reason I posted it. Because a lot of you who know me know I don't do this stuff for attention. So I was surprised, but I appreciate it. It was a little overwhelming because I wasn't expecting that from all of you. So, I want to say before I begin, thank you for that. So I've had a week and talking with people, and what I came up with was a couple of things. Number one, I am aware that even though I'm the one who came out, the person who was really affected more than anything was my mom. And I'm a parent too, so I realized that. And also too, I didn't respond a whole lot if you remember the video because two reasons. I was in shock, but I also really wanted to hear what she had to say. And to be honest, I didn't know if it would have mattered to her what I said back because she was drunk and I don't know what she would have remembered. I mean, I'm just being honest. So I needed to really listen. That whole thing we say when people listen, they're not listening, they're just waiting for their turn to respond. It was the opposite that night. I was really listening to my mom. And what I came up with was a lot of it was her upbringing. She grew up, she's 69. She grew up Pentecostal in Florida. She even had a black nanny, so to speak. You remember that movie, The Help? My mom even had one. She had a woman named Rosie who would come in the daytime and help out with everything, watch her, do laundry, clean the house, and then leave for the day. I even remember her telling a story, and I think I shared this with you. I think she said she was like 5 or 6. And she was with Rosie going to an appointment or the store, I can't remember what. And the bus driver had told her that Rosie had to sit in the back of the bus, right? Because that was what the time was like back then. And my mom went to join her. And the bus driver told her, no, you need to sit up front. And my mom says, she made a scowl and said, but my mom said I have to stay with Rosie. And the bus driver said, you need to stay up front. And Rosie had told her, little girl, you listen, let's not get us in trouble. And my mom remembered that moment because she didn't know why she couldn't sit with Rosie, because she didn't understand racism then. She didn't understand segregation then. But even then, in her being 5 or 6, she knew something was wrong. So that might have been what was her strength to not want to share with me how she really felt, which was her own personal struggle with me. Because when I left my husband, I thought she just was mad at me for breaking up my family, because I was married, we had a kid. I didn't realize it was tied into she didn't want to accept that I was gay. And more so, how she didn't see it coming. And I remember her mentioning that to me when I was younger, that she just didn't see it coming, which I'm like, how could you not see it coming? Like she was really open-minded about a lot of things. And there were things about me growing up she had to have known because I loved dressing like guys. I mean, my favorite characters were like from the movie The Outsiders and Happy Days. And I preferred riding BMX bikes and skateboards, and I loved sports, and I hated dolls, and just the list goes on. And it was like I just didn't identify with the things that were supposed to be for girls. So I don't know if that was a denial for her, but I realized that she had expectations. She had expectations for me. She had hopes for me. And she was sold on those ideas and those dreams and those hopes for me. And after I grew up and fulfilled a bunch of these hopes for her, in the end, it didn't end up that way. And I had to reflect back to me as a mom. My daughter's now 22. And I had hopes and expectations for her too before she was even born, before she was even conceived. And certain things about my own daughter didn't go the way I thought they would. A lot of you know, and I can announce it, I don't think my daughter would care, you wouldn't share, but she's been diagnosed with high-functioning Asperger's, which is a cousin to autism. It's a social anxiety disorder. And when she was younger and diagnosed with that, I immediately took it like I failed as a parent. Like, what did I do that my daughter has that? And I remember it being so hard because before she was diagnosed with it, I thought she just was being disrespectful. I was raised by Filipino Catholics, and we were raised at pretty strict, spare the rod, spoil the child. And despite what seemed like simple rules to abide by, my daughter couldn't do it. And I didn't know that it was from the disorder. I had to learn. So I reflected on all of that when my mom was telling me what she was telling me, the whole, you were born and I held this beautiful baby girl, and you were married and you had a kid, and then you grew up and you were gay. What went wrong? Right? And of course that hurts. But in the end, she couldn't be as strong as I am being strong coming out. I realized at that moment I was stronger than she was because she couldn't accept it, but I could in myself. And the crazy thing is what I wanted to say to her was, but Mom, I did everything you wanted me to do. Because I lived up to expectations. I spent my whole life trying to fit in a mold that my family members bestowed upon me, and my mom was one of them. What I wanted to say to my mom that night was, but Mom, I did like you wanted. I did well in school. I got great grades. I graduated on the honor roll. I listened. I was disciplined. I didn't need a curfew because I was never out late. I didn't lie. I didn't steal. I didn't drink or smoke as a kid. In fact, as a kid, I would hide and destroy my mom and dad's cigarettes since I was like age 9. Like, I knew that stuff was wrong. And I did grow up. And I did marry a really great man. I found a wonderful man who was nothing like my own father. And he gave me the most amazing kid on the planet. I did all that. I did everything you wanted me to do. I had that life that you didn't have. So, are you upset that I didn't keep it? Because I realized everything that I had factored up until the age of 29, which was the day that I came out, it wasn't my life, and I wasn't doing it for me. So it was a learning curve for both of us. Maybe in that moment, my mom realized that her expectations were hers and they weren't mine. And even though she can't accept it. She tolerates it, but she can't accept it, that I'm gay. She hasn't turned her back on me for it. And I learned at that moment that expectations that we have on people are not healthy. They're not. And I have them a lot with people. Because I have my own expectations. I raise the bar for myself so high that I hold other people up to that. And maybe to a point that's okay. Maybe to a point that's good. But you really have to be careful on the line that you draw with that. With expecting from people. You really can't expect from people. I'll tell you, what else helped? And I mentioned this before. I watched that movie, The Shack. Oh my goodness. And cried my eyes out on Thanksgiving, and then I had to go back to driving Lyft. Do you remember I posted about that? That movie I watched 2 days after the whole situation with my mom. And because the next day, the day before Thanksgiving, I had sort of a, not really a blowout, but a really struggling, emotionally draining day with my mom and my stepdad the day before Thanksgiving. So it was like a day after day after day. It was just an emotional upheaval last week. And so when I watched this movie, The Shack, I was able to apply it to that conversation I had with my mom. And I realized that that's her struggle. And there's nothing I can do about that. And although it hurts because she's my mom, that's hers. I have my own. You know, I have to stop putting people in boxes and putting people in categories and expecting something from them. If it doesn't match them and I, you or I, in a level that I'm expecting, because I level myself up, we are the 5 people we surround ourselves with, then just let it go. You know, don't shake a finger at them. Don't be mad at them. Say your piece. Share your wisdom. If it doesn't mesh, let it go. And that's what I had to learn. And it started with my conversation with my mom about me being gay. And that's what I learned. So I just wanted to come on and tell you all of that and share that with you, because I still have people hitting me up and asking me how I'm doing, if I'm okay. I even had someone today hit me up asking me, you know, they're like, I saw that video with your mom, are you okay? And I will be, you know, I mean, we grow up and we have our parents, and they're our first examples of what we're going to be like. Because we don't ask. I mean, write the 4 Agreements, which I still need to finish that book, but that book, the 4 Agreements, touches on that. Before we're even conceived, it's already decided how we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to act. Our name is given to us. We don't even pick our name. What we wear, we don't buy our clothes. The people in the society, the social circles that we're put in, we don't choose that when we're born and we're children. So it's up to our parents to do what they think is right. And my mom did everything she thought she knew was right by us as kids. My dad really wasn't that great, and that's a whole other subject. So for me, it was just my mom that I relied on. That was my best friend growing up through high school. She was the calm to my storm. She was the balance. She's a Libra. She was the balancing scales for me. You know, any question I had, anytime, any day, you know, before there was texting, I could call her and I could ask her and she would have the answer. My mom has always had the answer, like, to everything. And she's always was so calm and she was so patient with me. So I guess it just was time for me to be there for her. And it was time for me to listen. And just let her vent and let her share. It was my turn. And that's what I learned. So hopefully that, you know, not only hopefully if that makes sense, but maybe that resonates with you and that helps you. I will go back and check out your post because I just was trying to make sure I got this out because I didn't want to cry, even though I'm almost crying right now. And then I need to get back on the road. I got to earn some money because my daughter and I are leaving next week. We're flying out to Orlando, Florida. So I have to hurry up and earn all the money I can between now and Friday afternoon because I'm turning my rental in. Because I'm not going to need a rental if I'm not driving next week. And I'll just pick up a new rental when we get back. That's what I love about this program with Lepton. So, you know, we're leaving next week to Orlando, Florida. We're going to have fun at Disney World. We're going to have fun at the Harry Potter. And then I'm also going to go out to Club Pulse, right? Nightclub. That the massacre happened last year. And talk with some people who survived and knew people that lost their lives and find out what's been happening with the community almost a little over a year later. So that's going to be, and I'll go live with that too. So look for that. Either it's going to be live or we'll record the video and then I'll post it later. So look for that as well. So thank you for listening and taking the time. And again, all of you who reached out to me and gave your posts and messaged me and called me to check on me and my mom. Thank you so much. It really means the world. I'm that strong personality that I don't ask for support. I'm usually the one that's the first in line to give the support because I have the capacity to do that and I have the strength to do that. And I forget that it's okay for me to ask for it. So thank you. I'm going to get to work now. And remember, every day that you wake up, you determine how your day will go. So manifest to be your best and kick the shit out of the rest of your Tuesday.